Hello everybody and welcome. It is of course the Star GB Open House event, and Rowan and I have got a really busy day ahead of us, haven't we?
We've got a lot going on today.
We've
got a big tour at 2 o'clock I'm really looking forward to.
You know what, the best thing is about the live streams is getting you into the Star facility and basically getting you into the machines. Before we begin and before we start our first interview, you've been taking a little tour and researching some of the machines. So what is the one thing that's really stood out for you already?
Yeah, so as you said, we've been talking to Alec today, taking a quick tour about around the tech centre. It's my first time here. It's amazing how many machines they can pack into actually quite a small space in the showroom. One of the most exciting things is probably the eccentric turning feature, which is going to be shown on, I think, the SB26 Type E. SD26 Type E, I apologise. And that's a brand new machine for the UK. And the eccentric turning is really cool feature. I've not seen that before on a lathe before, so that's going to be really exciting to show. There's also a preview machine that no one's going to see, no one can see even buy in the UK yet. It's a preview to get feedback from customers. There's also another brand new machine, which is going to be it's the SP23. Is that correct?
Correct.
Thank you, Steve. SP23. I've got the master right here. I'm going to make sure I do the model numbers right. So there's going to be some really good machinery to show off. There's also some really fascinating software like Step Cycle Pro we're going to be talking about, and also some vibration monitoring from Cad Engineering, which is a new supplier in the UK. It's going to be quite interesting as well. So that's for micro machining as well. So there's lots of different applications, lots of really new technology. It's going to be interesting to see.
Yes, we're going to go into quite a lot of finite detail for you, almost to imagine that you are here at the event. But if you would like to get interacting with us, then you are always welcome to. Just write a comment below, and we've got all the technology so we can see your questions. They come up on our screen and we can ask the professionals. So talking of professionals, it's nice. You love this, don't you, Steve?
Yes, favourite part of the whole event.
Yeah, Steve doesn't really enjoy going on camera. However, we do force him sometimes with a bribery of a coffee. So, Steve, I hear that you had a record year, so a massive congratulations to you. Has the climate changed in terms of over the last year? Because, of course, we were here last year, but you had the knock-on effect from COVID and everything. So how do you feel, and why do you feel that you've had such a successful year?
No, you're correct. I mean, by the time this year finishes, we will have broken all our records. Last year was the highest ever order intake. This year will be highest ever deliveries. I have to be brutally honest, there's a bit of a slowdown now, but, you know, I think, as you said before, a lot of that was post-COVID, work being reshored. We were fortunate we got a really diverse customer base into many sectors. So it's really difficult to pinpoint one reason why, but... And there's a lot more interest now in sliding head technology to 5-10 years ago. People are more open to it, whereas before, as we've said before, it was always looked on as a bit of a black art, but it isn't. It's just turning.
So talking about that then, why do you think, or what would you say to people, or what is it that people are noticing that sliding head technology does for them?
I mean, there's a huge look into automation. Well, we've been automating for years just by having a bar feed. You know, we sell machines that are automated. You don't need as much manpower. So that I think that's been a major thing. You know, the cost of employing people, etc., etc. Whereas, you know, you can have a bank of machines with 1 or 2 people running them. Whereas predominantly fixed head on like milling machines, you've got manpower, and that's a cost, and it makes you difficult to be competitive with, you know, cheaper countries.
You know, I have noticed as well, you know, we do go out to a lot of your customers, and you will see a bank of sliding head machines. It's not 1 or 2. You know, you see customers, and there's quite an array. So you grow with your customers ultimately. Yeah,
to be truthful, our machines are lonely if they're on their own. You know.
Like us.
Yeah.
Exactly.
No, it's you know, one tends to get 2 because, you know, especially the new customers that, you know, once they've got one, they don't realise what they can do, and then suddenly they fill that capacity, and within 6 to 12 months they're often coming back for the second one, which, you know, for us is great.
Yeah, of course. Just to give you a heads up as well, we are going to be speaking to a Star user and also a software provider, and also we're going to learn a little bit more about your Step Cycle Pro. So just a couple more questions for you. Your new technology, you mentioned it was the SP23. Can you tell me about this, and why have you got it here at the open house?
Well, it was shown in EMO, so we've decided we'd bring it over. I think it's going to be a popular machine. It's quite an early entry machine in the way of price, capable, inch capacity. There's a lot of people still make quite simple components. We don't need 10 axis machines for everything. So yeah, I think there's a gap in the market for definitely for Star. You know, other manufacturers make machines similar. So yeah, I think it'll be quite a popular machine in the UK.
And Rowan, what did you learn about, the SD26? What was it you mentioned earlier?
So the SD26 is down in the corner. We're going to be looking at it later. It's got a big FMB bar feeder on it. And the interesting thing is eccentric. You're doing an eccentric turn in part. You're doing like a little tiny crankshaft, which is absolutely fascinating. And on one side you're milling an eccentric boss. The other side you're turning an eccentric boss. And normally turning an eccentric boss, there's one machine I can think of, like an SW machine. It's like a big milling machine that does something similar, but you've got to have real fine control of the motors on every axis, on the spindle synchronization with the x-axis. There's not many machines that can do that in that size of machine. But I'd be interested to find out what kind of components that would be applicable to, because you could mill an external boss, but I guess if you need a turned finish on that kind of feature, then you'd have to eccentric turn it, which would need a special jig or something in a standard lathe. It'd be a real nightmare feature to make.
It would, but that's the million-dollar question, finding the component that requires it. But no, it's, Star and other companies moving on technology, just trying to be that bit more innovative. It's not going to be an option that fits everybody, but there will be people who can benefit from this.
It's very specialist, but I think it does just go to show the absolute fine precision and control that you have in synchronizing all those different axes at a huge, I guess, a ridiculous RPM as well, to achieve a great cutting speed on a small diameter.
No, I must admit, when I was on Friday looking at the machine and myself, I'm stood there just thinking it's a degree of wizardry going on.
Yeah, absolutely. So.
I think you need a job at Star.
I wouldn't mind one, yeah. It sounds good. You've had a record year. It sounds pretty good.
I don't think we can actually employ somebody just sat here. I think Mr. Jones might be here a little bit not impressed.
Maybe.
No, we won't be happy. Just one more as well. Team members, they've come over from Japan. Why have you brought people over from Japan?
Well, some of our colleagues haven't had the opportunity to come, so it made a good opportunity for them to come here, see what we're about. We're a wholly owned subsidiary, so it's just nice for them to put faces to names. They deal with these people electronically day in, day out, so it's nice. We've got some colleagues from Switzerland arriving today as well.
But they're also previewing, aren't they, the new SK51?
Shh.
Oh, okay. We won't mention.
We're going to keep it quiet.
No, Star have never hidden behind the fact that they'd like to try and get into different markets, and fixed ed is one. So we've decided that we'd like to, show it here and gain feedback of what our customer base believe. If it's something that's of interest, and
Absolutely.
if it is great. So it's a bit of a fact finding. Thing for us.
That'd be really good. Also, if you've got any comments on that or any questions regarding that, then again, please do write in. Okay, you like Christmas, don't you, Steve? It's your favourite time of the year.
No, I don't. You know that.
No, you don't.
No, I don't.
No, I don't. So, but you've made something really special. So, what's this? Because
that's a Christmas tree.
You're it is, yes, but slightly different. So, come on, tell us more.
I can't take any credit for anything that happens here. This open house is done by, an amazing group of people who plan, design, make these things, put the whole thing together from getting machines here, marketing, catering. I'm so fortunate. This is all done. We've got some superb people, and year in, year out, they come up with different ideas. I mean, the guys were here Saturday working on this because some of the machines didn't arrive till Friday, and that's testament to the people we employ, that's what they do to try and put on a nice show.
But they're willing to do that, but also if you think that's testament to the engineers that you've got on site that help back up all of the machines for purchases.
No, we're very fortunate with the people we employ. Yeah, it's we'd like to think that they all buy into the ethos of what we are, and they go above and beyond on a daily basis. I mean, that's our biggest USP, the service and support.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Steve. You didn't really
Pleasure.
want to go on camera, did you? And
No.
you were like, I've got a meeting, so we've got to be quick.
I have got
Was it that bad?
No.
No, it wasn't. Never is. Thank you so much. And what we'll do is we'll pass you over to one of the team members, Chloe over there, because we're going to have one of your customers come on very shortly. So thank you so much, and I wish you the best of luck at the event.
Thank
you very much, Steve.
Thanks.
Appreciate it.
So, Rowan, we're going to be talking about Solid Cam in a few moments' time as
We
well,
are, yeah.
but also Step Cycle Pro. Is there anything that you kind of feel like you've picked up from walking around people talking about Step Cycle Pro?
Yeah, Step Cycle Pros, it's fascinating because it synchronizes the x-axis and the spindle movement, synchronizes those and oscillates those at the same time so that the waveform around the component means that, because you get a waveform on every component and when you're machining, because there's natural vibration in the machine process. I'm probably going to go too much detail.
No, I like
here.
this. Yes, you are.
Basically, you improve your chipping, so you don't get bunching of the swarf and the chips in your material, in your part component. Instead, because the tool is actually in fresh air, kind of every maybe microsecond, every millisecond, I don't know, but because it's doing this waveform over the material, it's almost like an intermittent process, more like milling, so you get these little chips coming off no matter what your feeds and speeds are. Step Cycle Pro hopefully will improve your chipping, meaning you have much better lights out process stability.
That's exactly what it is.
In a minute.
You can tell he's got it all in his head.
I'm trying.
Right, okay, so we've got the customer ready. So this is, I did have your name
It's
here.
Ali from
Harwin.
Harwin.
That's it,
There we
sorry.
go. So I'll pick it up.
There we
Lyndsey.
go. So Ali, can you tell us your story and how you began to become a Star user?
So myself, I started at Harwin 20 years ago as an apprentice, worked through the company, worked in all the different areas. So we have a lot of machining in our company. So we have CNC turning, CNC milling, we have mould shops, we have press shops, we have plating shops, all piece part assemblies to make our final connectors. So I worked through the company for 20 years from apprentice, finally got into planning and then moved up into production management in the last year. So I'm the production manager for all our manufacturing sites at Harwin.
Wow.
So, and the turning shop is one of them. About 5 years ago, we moved into a new purpose-built facility, and we've now got 49 stars on site.
I'm sorry?
We got 49 stars on site.
It's huge.
49.
Absolutely
Yeah.
huge.
You know what? And that actually echoes what I said at the beginning. It's not like you have one Star machine, it becomes a family of...
When we moved into the building, we had 26.
Oh, wow.
So we moved with 26.
Yeah.
It was purpose-built, as I say. It was took us about a year to finally get everything up and running, but we now have, 49 machines on site. We've got a training academy in there. We've got apprentices running. We've got a new manager in there now who's come through the apprenticeship program, which is fantastic. So, yeah, really, really good facility. And obviously the support we get from Star is amazing.
So it's interesting with 49 different kinds of machines. They're all be slightly different models, different
Absolutely.
axes.
So
with
we've got
stars.
from 7mm machines all the way up to a 26 machine. But 26 is quite large for us. We tend to do more micro turning.
Okay.
So we really are in the small connector industry.
The
We don't do
components
large.
are really fascinating.
Yeah, I always say to people we make sort of small parts that go in really cool projects. So we've been in Formula One cars, we're in aeroplanes, we're in submarines, UAVs, satellites. We've worked with everyone and anyone out there in the world that needs high reliability connectors. So what we do is, we believe, the sort of best around.
Absolutely.
This is a bit of a generic question. I know it's a bit loose, but what is it that you would say that is one of the best things about these machines and why you return? And okay, yes, you've already said service and support is excellent, but let's talk technology now. What is that kind of step that, I don't know when you first bought your first Star into that journey, but what makes you stay with them and that evolution?
So reliability is absolutely key to what we do. We mass produce. We don't turn 4 or 5 turnkey items and then go on to something else. We develop our own products and we are making millions of these parts a year. The turning shop alone makes over 40 million parts that goes through it.
Every year?
Every year. So, and we need machines that are reliable. They have to run 24/7. We do not turn our machines off ever in Harwin. So
You don't turn them off?
we do not turn them off ever. Christmas, you name it.
Are you running lights out then?
Lights out.
365 days?
365 days a year, 24/7. So reliability, obviously the machines have phenomenal capabilities, and we can all go to it. And the technical guys, I don't set the machines personally, but they could tell you phenomenal stuff. But the reliability of it, to keep us running, we need to be running every hour of the day.
So you did mention service and support.
Service.
And we'll be honest, things happen, we know, a machinist and engineer, they will know things can go wrong.
It's the manufacturing world. It's exactly the manufacturing world.
What is it that you go, right, with reliability, things go wrong? What is it? And not just saying, oh, they're going to turn up really quickly, but what is it? What have they got that gives you peace of mind?
Well, for starters, is that they don't actually need to be called out that often. I mean, the service and support is phenomenal. It's the fact that when it is needed, we need rapid response for what we do. Every hour is critical to our business. And the support that we get from these guys is second up. The engineers that come down themselves, we've actually got to know them personally. And that is a lovely touch. And that is brilliant, because they then really understand what we do. They understand our needs and how quickly they need to be responsive to us. And that's really important to a business like ours that needs to be on the go constantly.
Yeah.
It's almost like an automotive line where if you're down, then that will cost a lot of money every hour.
Well, absolutely. We manufacture in the UK. We know that we have to take every hour seriously. Our whole ethos at Harwins is, because we actually make our own machines that make the final connectors. And our ethos is automation, automation, automation. We invest into robots. We invest into the ancillary equipment on a Star machine that keeps it running. So it's not just the machine, it's all those partnerships with them that allow us to do what we're going to do. And we wouldn't know about them if it wasn't for the guys at Star that introduced us to these other amazing companies that you can work with them. So
the network,
it is exactly. The network around companies like this is, it's essential.
I think that echoes as well for the open house. There is a lot of their partners, a lot of their partners here, and it takes a family of people for it to work, It
really does. If you look at a Star, it's a whole, it's like a building block of many things, and we're lucky that we have all those partnerships, and our product comes out the end high quality and to extremely high tolerances.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
And what I find interesting is with so many different kinds of machinery, training must be a big issue, and that's why you've got an apprenticeship scheme.
Absolutely. So at Harwin, apprenticeships has been key to our business for 20 years. As I say, I was part of it 20 years ago, one of the first, our production manager of it. We've probably got something like about 25 to 30% of our staff have been through it. We work really closely with our local colleges as well to make sure that we're getting all the students. So our local college near us, all their students have their sort of work experience. They come to Harwin, they learn the machines. The real areas that we've done it, Star and using turning machines, has been huge. We currently have 6, which is about 60% of our staff in our shop at the moment, either have been through it or are currently on the apprenticeship programme. All of them then get training days at Star. Most of them have been up to this facility or the previous facility to do work with like the applications engineers and that sort of stuff. And then now we've just had our latest 4. The guys from Star have come down and they actually spent 2 weeks with our trainees.
Wow.
We're going to hopefully get some more time out of them soon.
That's some dedication.
This will help me sway them a little bit to get a bit more out of them.
Yeah, exactly. So Star is also good for reducing your staff turnover and keeping people happy and trained up and feeling like they're progressing personally as well.
The way the world's going now, staff turnover, we are in a sort of world where people don't want to stay in a business. You hear about it, change your job every 7 years. We're very lucky. Where we're constantly changing our machines, evolving as a business, you've got to keep that interest in your staff that they don't want to look elsewhere. We went from hand assembly to robots in 15 years. It's huge. If you can keep that sort of buzz and excitement within a business, hopefully we will retain that staff. And the apprentice program for us is absolutely huge.
It seems like you're very far on your kind of production engineering process journey. You're almost at this process is stable, we're making millions of components a year. What would you say if you were to talk to a potential customer that maybe has never looked at a Star sliding head machine before, doesn't even know whether sliding head is right for them? They might have the right kind of components for it, but they just don't know. How would you explain to them how to take that first step?
Well, when we got our first Stars in, I was a lot younger.
You
I was a lot younger, and I remember going in there. And it was all cam-driven technology. So it was greasy, old machines.
Cam-driven lathes.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? All this technology that is dying. It was extremely fast, extremely unreliable, and you get a lot of people that love it because it's absolutely fast and you can turn over your product really quick.
Yeah.
But if it's stopping every 5 minutes, your product is not 30-second cycle time, it's actually 5 minutes cycle time. They wouldn't run overnights. If you're going to manufacture, use every hour of the day. That's what you're going to get out of a Star. You are going to get every hour of the day. If you use it correct, you will be able to run, you'll be able to walk away. We have 10 people, we have 49 machines. That's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Back in the day, you'd have had double that, if not treble, if you wanted to run a night shift, and that's running every day of the week.
Yeah, and subcontractors maybe find it hard to get those contracts where they've got things they can make reliably monthly. But moving into getting a sliding head machine, that capacity allows you to take on those contracts.
Yes.
And that those contracts are much easier to service than like a one-off here, a 5-off there, on standard kind of VMC work.
Right.
So, we don't really, we flip it the other side. We kind of don't really take in from outside on the turning because our actual final end product is so large selling from out there that we're forever looking to buy more and more just to suffice what we do. But we sort of do that in-house. We almost treat our turning shop like a sort of subcontractor outside.
Yes, yeah.
Sort of have 5 businesses in one.
Wow.
What a success story.
Yeah, real success story. Ali, thank you so much for your time. I hope you enjoy the rest of the day. And also, there's going to be some hot dogs at lunchtime as well. So
enjoy the treats, though.
Brilliant.
Yeah, yeah.
I won't say no
and
to that.
freshly fried onions should be quite nice.
Oh, gosh. Right, thank you
Brilliant.
so much,
Thank you.
Ali. Thank you. Right, okay, so next up, I believe we have got one of the Star
Stephen,
employees.
from Star.
Called Stephen. Now, Stephen is our professional, our pro, at talking about Step Cycle Pro. So, Stephen, Step Cycle Pro, we've kind of gone over it a little bit. Well, Rowan has. However, can you tell us a little bit more about Step Cycle Pro and the technology?
Okay, so SCP, Step Cycle Pro, essentially oscillates the axis movement in synchronization with the spindle rotation. And this allows for materials that notoriously are difficult to chip, such as stainless steels, Inconel, polymers. It forces it to chip. So it's revolutionary, really, because if you think about lights out machining or just an 8-hour run during a shift pattern, the danger is swarf. That's the problematic area. If a machine is to be down for 3 hours due to people having to sort the swarf out, you've lost that in production. So the Step Cycle Pro just gives companies confidence to leave the machines running through the day, and then also extra confidence to say, hey, let's try lights out. So it's a win-win, and it's been out there now for a while, and the results are
I think you've got over 100 or right up towards your
I believe the latest figures are 75% now of machine sales have Step Cycle Pro, and that's jumped significantly because of the feedback direct from industry. So,
how do you think your technology is evolving? Where, for people who have actually got a lot of your machines, where is this technology going? Where is the sliding head world going, do you think?
It's going automation. That's the main thing. It's companies looking to be more efficient, more productive, for a longer amount of time for less overheads. So it's business, it's good business sense. And again, what stopped that was coming into a machine in the morning with bird's nest material, having left the company at 5 and got till 5:30 worth of parts. So now you're coming in with a bar feeder empty of bars and a big tray full of money.
Absolutely. It is. Process stability is such an important thing, like you say, when you're working with those difficult to cut materials. Do you think some companies previously would have shied away from an Inconel, from a stainless? They're difficult to cut anyway. You get like tool wear. It's hard to kind of tune in the process.
100%, because of the fact of the difficulty to machine it. And Step Cycle Pro has also proved to increase tool life because of reduced temperatures, because it's not constantly at one force. It takes a base speed and a base feed and then oscillates around that. So it's force on, a little bit off, that kind of thing. So,
so not only is it bunching, you've got tool wear improvements as well.
Yes, so it's a win-win through 4 or 5 reasons, really.
There's always trade-offs in engineering, though. I know that previously with in the industry, in sliding head industry, there's been other systems a little bit like this, and I've heard that they could potentially affect your cycle times.
Yes, and our Mark 1 version of Step Cycle Pro did this, where it just fluctuated the feed rate. However, the Japanese, and I don't understand fully the maths behind it, but they've worked out a way in which you're actually speeding up. So you're not just slowing down, you're speeding up and slowing down
so
around
you can kind of
base.
offset that cycle time.
But I know you want your cycle time improved, don't get me wrong, but if you're having an overnight run and you're keeping a stable process, then, because that's what Owen at Armeg said to me, and he said, okay, we wait on there, but in the long term, the bigger picture, it works out far better for us with our tooling and our machine capabilities.
Yeah, very good point.
Yeah, he just said that you look at the bigger picture and it's changed our world. Like, so
yeah, I agree. If you was to say, okay, we're losing 5%, if we're losing 5% on our cycle time, but we've not had no downtime, win.
Yeah.
But also, it doesn't actually reduce your cycle time in 95% of the cases. Sometimes you might have to back off a slight bit, but then you're going to continue running. So, win-win.
What's your role here at Star?
I'm an applications engineer. I've been here 3 years now.
Yeah.
And, during an open house, my role is just to assist, try and answer all your questions, and
run some of these beautiful components off as well.
Yes. Yeah, run off the Christmas tree, which has gave us all sleepless nights for a few weeks.
Yeah, Steve was praising the whole team and design, manufacture of this beautiful component.
Stephen looks so happy right now.
It looks quite smart, I think.
It does.
It looks great. It looks great.
It does. It looks incredible.
It'll be my most expensive bauble on my tree this year. Put it this way.
Yeah, beautiful.
Actually, that's a nice idea. There we go. Oh, I'm having that back now.
It was so nice. These have actually been very prized by the customers that have been coming in. I think they all want one, don't they?
They do. And you'd be surprised what they'll do to get one as well, because you can't leave yours on the machine for too long.
No, because they disappear.
That's why you're clutching it very tightly right now. That's yours.
Just to give you a heads up, at 2 o'clock, Rowan's going to be taking you on a tour, so you'll see all the machines in action, working. That's when you can also, we will be grateful for you to send your questions in, because then we'll get Rowan on the chairs, quiz him, and I believe it will be Matt or Alex in here who we can quiz about the machines. Just before we move on to the next person, what would you say to anyone about Star? Why would you say, our machines are the one you need to go for from your perspective?
Okay, well, it's a good question, because I've actually worked for another sliding head company.
Okay.
And I think professionally I will leave them nameless. So I've seen our main competitor, one of our main competitors, and I've worked for Star, and I can actually tell you now that Stars are a more superior product, not only mechanically and electronically, but the support aspects. I've never worked for a customer that holds never worked for a company that holds our customers in such high regard. There is nothing we won't do to support you, and that goes on to Saturday mornings even, and round the clock support, next day up and running policy. You can't fault it.
Right then, Mark, thank you for joining us.
You're welcome.
So tell us a little bit more about your connection with Star then.
So we've been involved with Star probably for the last 4 or 5 years. Took a lot of convincing at Start to try and get them involved on there. They've been bitten before with software, making promises, not necessarily delivering all the time. And it took quite a lot of convincing to say that, yes, we're going to be different. But they've certainly taken that on board now. This is probably our third, fourth attendance for this event. Great event, lots of great customers, really well organised, so really pleasure to come to these events on there, and Star are now fully on board with us. It's actually nice to be here. They're recommending us to all their customers, so can't ask for more than that.
No, absolutely, and Star are obviously a fantastic company to work with. Machines they make, really complex, you talk up to 14 axes. These are complex machines. Is that why you need a Cad Cam system to help you program these things? You can program them by hand.
Yeah, and that may depend on your component. If it's a very simple component, you know what you're doing, then these machines can be programmed offline. Parts are getting more and more complicated, shorter and shorter runs going on these machines. We're seeing parts now which are coming through, there's no turning on them whatsoever. They are completely milled on these machines. But the reason for using them is because they can get it off in one hit rather than going on the milling machine, have several ops. So now on these machines, they can get it off in one go. Those types of parts, you're not going to program by hand. So there's a lot more now going towards that.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you're trying to program a component on a machine, you've got machines generally not running when you're programming. Is it important for customers to have material ready, tools ready, program ready before the sliding head machine has finished its last run? Is that something they're looking for?
That's certainly where the industry is going on there. Obviously, the machines where you make or all your money from, and if that's not working, you're not making money. So if we can do all of that up front and get all the programs ready, get all the tool lists ready to get onto the machine, so the setup time or the downtime that machine is minimalised, then yeah, it's really worth doing.
Okay, so let's talk about actually programming these kind of 14 axis machines. There's a lot going on at the same time. How does SolidCam help make that process quicker?
Well, we can program that, and the programming is very straightforward. You program that operation by operation, same as you would on any machine. But
I've got a fly on my mic then.
Just distracted me a minute. So that's straightforward. But where you really get the benefit on there is knowing then, okay, I can do this at the same time as that. I can check for collisions against those and really optimise your machining time then, because obviously these machines are made to cut quickly. And if we can optimise that and make that even better, benefits, everybody wins.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it works together.
Absolutely, and so with these kinds of machines, there's people who've been running these machines for a long time.
Yep.
They're used to programming them by hand or with kind of general programming G-code assistant software, which is quite basic.
Yeah.
Those people might say, they've been running for a long time.
Well, we get that argument all the time. They say the experienced people in the shops on there, well, we'll show a demonstration. Yeah, but we can program at that time. Yeah, depending on the components. Sometimes on there, no, we program it in an hour or so in the demonstration. It's taken them 2 days. So that's the reverse of it. But a lot of components, if they are straightforward, yeah, you might be able to program it on there. But these people have been doing this for years and years and years, and typically that skill age is growing higher and higher. A lot of these people now are looking towards retiring or moving on, or maybe moving out the industry as well. So that's them becoming very reliant on a very few people.
Yeah. So if you're running a company, you're hoping that experience is going to stay in the company somehow through transfer, knowledge transfer.
Absolutely, you are. Yeah. If you're then replacing them, you're replacing them with a lot younger people on there without the machining experience for the last 20, 30 years, and they are more, if you like, computer literate. They've learned through colleges or university, Cad Cam. This is the way they want to go as well. So it's a win-win for everybody, because we can help even the experienced people, because what we're finding is, sidetrack a little bit on there, a lot of we're finding on some of the components where they used to be all turned or milled or off there, and then they'd be taken off and maybe deburred offline. They're deburring on the machine now. Everything's coming off fully deburred. And it's sometimes just the deburring is the most awkward bit to program.
Yeah, because you've got to program every single edge on
and
your
usually
component.
Curved edges could be internal as well. Yeah. So if we're doing stuff for Star, half the things they ask us to have a look at are deburring cycles.
Yeah, which sounds really simple.
Yeah.
Sounds like, well, you should take a needle file around it. Why can't a machine do that?
Well, absolutely. And it doesn't take a fraction of seconds to do that, and it comes off completely clean, consistent, and done. So that's another sort of advantage on there. So existing people who have been doing this for years can then enhance what they're doing and give a much better component. They don't have to learn everything. We don't force people to learn the whole software on there. If they just want to take an existing program and add this little bit of code into it, SolidCam can cope with that as well. So we don't force people to program in a certain way. We work however they want to do. It's a tool. We make life easier for them.
And I guess also, once you've got a program that's been programmed in a CAM system that knows what your machine configuration is, rather than on the control, you get some kind of simulation as well, which is something you would never get if you were programming by hand.
There's two things with that on there. You get the full simulation, so you can see the whole machine, how all the axes are working at the same time. But we also got machine preview in there, so as you're programming, you can actually see the machine where it actually is in that position. Because sometimes on there you may need to move something out of the way to get something else in, but you'll be able to preview that and see exactly where it is at that particular point.
Rather than use your 30 years of experience and knowledge, or watch it collide when you go, oh, well, I should have known that. It just gives the operator
peace of mind.
Absolutely.
That's what you're saying prior to pressing.
Giving them confidence that what they're going to produce on there is actually going to go on the machine and work with minimal interruptions later on. Okay. Ideally on there, we should take the program straight out the cam, put it on the machine, press the button and start. Now, that's not always going to be the case. We understand that, because it's obviously people may not put 100% of the information in at the cam side of it, because they're, okay, we've got to get this program out, we don't want to put that bit in there, we'll just check that on the machine at the same time. Well, that's fine, they can do that, they get the choice, they can spend a bit more time programming, or they can, okay, I'll check it on the machine.
Right, Mark, we're going to have to cut you short there,
because
we've got another customer who's wanting to come on well. So, Mark, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Mark.
And enjoy today and tomorrow. The open house is on tomorrow, so if you want to come here, it's in Derby. You can more than welcome to come along. Obviously, you can register with Star, head to their website, or I'm sure you can turn up and then speak to the team as well. This is an interactive live stream. So if you have any questions at all, please do send them in, and we can, speak to the professionals at 2 o'clock. Rowan is going to be busy because he's got his walking shoes on.
I am, I'm walking around the machine shop. We're going out at 2 o'clock. We're going to be seeing all the machinery. We also have a new customer ready to talk to us today.
Is this Nick? Hello,
Nick,
it's
yes.
only because I could read your badge really quickly. Nick, can you tell me about yourself and your company then?
Yes, so...
Thank you for going on camera.
It's okay, I've never done it before, so a little bit nervous.
So if you bring your microphone a bit closer.
All British Precision. We're basically a subcontractor. We do a lot of parts for Howardson and the Dennis Group, who make lawnmowers. We also
lawnmowers?
Lawnmowers.
Really? Okay,
yes.
fair enough. What kind of parts are they? Go the
All
lawnmowers?
sorts, everything apart from the engine and any fabrication, we make the parts for, so all the little...
Brackets and hinges and fasteners?
Everything like that.
Interesting, okay.
And where are you based?
In Derby.
So you're local?
Yes, we're only down the road, just outside Kirk Langley.
Okay, and tell us about your story with Star then, because you've just purchased 2.
We have, yeah. We've just bought 2 new ones. So we've got 3 originally, 2 ST38s and an SR20J. We've just bought the SR32s, 2 of them, to increase capacity because we're pretty much at full with the original ones. We've got brilliant lights out running now. The machine the other day ran for 38 hours straight, which was nice.
Wow, is that one single run making one component?
Yeah.
That's a big volume.
It was awesome, yeah. It was good to see, coming in and seeing it running 2 days in a row.
Still going.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. How does it feel like when you see machines, when you finally get to that level of production?
Yeah, it's been a road. I'm quite new to this game. I've done it for 5 years now, so it was a massive learning curve. But to actually come in and see it still running, it just...
And how long did it take to go from your first star, if you could tell us about your first star, and then getting to 38 hours running full lights out production? What's that journey like?
A lot of trial and error. The guys here are fantastic if we ever need any help. But yeah, just basically trial and error, just little tweaks, add up. So by the 3rd time we've run this part, like I say, we went from getting about 100 parts a go, and then it's all the way up, and it did like 3,000. 3,000
parts in one go. It's amazing. That's absolute process security.
Yeah.
Tools are all dialed in.
Constant
tool wear is
improvement,
controlled.
assisted tooling, active, everything. Yeah, it was. It's been a journey, but it's paid off in the end.
It takes a long time to develop that kind of systems and process. But I think the next time you run a different part and you want to do a high volume, you'll know more about the machinery and the tooling.
Constantly learning about
how to get it all working together well.
We keep it well documented as well, which is massive, so we can pass it on
write
to
that down, definitely.
Yeah. 100%.
You jumped up to different machines. Was it purely for bar capacity? Because I noticed you went from 26 to a higher bar capacity. Is that right?
Yeah, we went from 20. We've got the 38s, which is quite big, and the 32s is just nice in between. So they're a bit easier to set up than the ST38.
I was going to say, what's your favourite machine and why?
I do like the ST38. It's a bit of a beast to master it, but once it's going, it's wicked. It's awesome to see that it's got 3 turrets, and just to watch it doing its thing is unbelievable, really.
Absolutely. And I remember you saying it's kind of setting is definitely a consideration when you're setting up these machines.
Yeah.
They are made for compactness and automation.
Yeah.
What did you have to learn when you first start doing running sliding head machinery? What did you have to start to learn?
Well, a lot of it, compared to a normal machine that's just got one turret, it's the synchronisation of it so that it doesn't crash into itself.
Yeah, it's very important to keep your investment safe.
Yes, definitely.
But he says with a smile.
Don't tell us how many crashes you had when you first started.
No, I'm fairly well known with fire trace as well. So
oh, really?
Nice. A few accidents.
Better to buy a few new fire extinguishers.
Yes, it's part of it, but sometimes stuff happens, doesn't it?
Well, at least they stay safe though, and your building is fine.
Yeah, that's
everyone's
it.
Okay. That's the whole point of having
these
systems.
systems. Which is a bonus.
Yeah, it's funny that, isn't it? It's funny. Yeah.
Have you learned anything being here today? I don't know how long you've been here for.
I've literally just walked through the door.
You've just walked through the door and you said you'd go on camera.
Yeah.
What a guy.
That's some confidence right there.
So why are you here today then?
Just to come and have a look. I mean, I'm showing some of the other guys what machines we've got. So obviously it's important that everyone in the factory's on pulling the same way. So just showing a few guys. We've sent 3 of the younger guys up earlier, and they're just having a look, see what's here, see what's new, keep up to date.
What would you say to anyone who isn't in the realms of sliding head? where, what was your moment where you needed to get into this area of expertise, and what would you say to someone who's in that moment that you once were?
It was just the lights out running for us, really. We've always wanted to get there, and automation without it necessarily being manned. So going from the DMG Morris that you have to stand in front of all the time to that being able to make thousands of parts overnight when no one's there as well.
Are these the same parts you were making on a previous machine, the exact same component? Because normally sliding head machinery components are very specific, and then you look at it, it's like, that's for a sliding head, it's for nothing else.
Yeah. There's so we've always had one. I think many years ago before I started, they had an older SR32. So they've always needed it for, like, say, those specifics. But just moving forward, we're just finding that we can do lots of different things. I mean, we make thousands and thousands of different parts every year. So
you've got the variety, as well.
Sometimes we can get, like, on the SR20, we've managed to get 5 jobs done in one day.
Oh, nice!
Really?
With
So
all your
how
setups and everything.
Yeah, normally setups take a long time.
Yeah.
don't they?
Yeah. That's just the guys. Our longest guy on there has got 6 years experience. I mean, Chris, who was here with me, he's got like 12 years experience on them.
So they know how to set the machines
experience.
ready in the morning, so the changeover is going to be quick.
Yeah.
When you want to do
and
the job.
scheduling the work helps as well. So same bar sizes and same tools, that all helps.
It's the world of automation. That's
Yes,
exactly what it is.
Yeah, you've got to plan ahead.
Yeah, that's it.
Thank you so much for going
It's
on
okay.
camera, walking
I hope
in,
it's
going
all
on
right.
camera. He's probably the bravest person here, isn't he? Thank you so much.
No worries.
So I wish you have a very good day
Yes,
ahead
thank
of
you.
you.
Nick.
Pleasure
Thank
to meet
you.
you.
Thank you.
Right, we're going to have to wrap that one up there. Thank you so much for joining us here on the MTD live stream. We will be back at 2 o'clock. Rowan is going to take you on a tour around the showroom that you're seeing behind us. It is so busy right now. It's full of a lot of people walking around. So Rowan's going to take you on a tour, get into the machines, and then we'll be back quizzing some of the staff members as well. So if you've got any questions and reservations, don't hold them back. Send them in and we will quiz the professionals. Thank you very much, Rowan, and we'll see you a little bit later on.